Hello everyone, welcome back to another Cupid Parasite. Allan beneath the sky. This is going to be the last episode in Allan Street because there's 3 sections left and I'm just going to cram it all into one because no matter how long it is, because if I don't, they'll probably be too short to make 2 separate videos. Anyway, last night there was a power outage and I was going to do some Sims editing for my other channel because I don't think I've edited a Sims video in a long time. Like my last post was ages ago. And I feel like I've been neglecting that series anyway. I have it all completely recorded and it's not all posted. But yeah, there was a power outage last night, so I was really bored and I had nothing to do. And I was watching some videos and I was chatting, and I just, after like I think it was like 1:20, like I just couldn't fall asleep because I really wanted to go record Allan's route. The power came back on like right as I was going to bed, and I was like, it's really tempting to get up and just go record Allan because I want to get done with Allan's route so I can get to the secret route, because there's just things that I want to talk about about the secret route and I can't because it needs to be spoiled in a video. So I don't want to talk about it before then. I don't think that there is any common route, like prelude into the secret route, because I was looking at the sections and it says there are like no common route choices. The only choice is, do you want to play a secret route? You answer yes, and then it goes into sections that are not titled anything that the common route is titled. So no common roots, just jump straight into it. And I died to read it. So what I'm going to try to do today is I'm going to try and record Allan's last chapter and Allan's endings mixed with the common root endings, because you have to read all endings in order to unlock the secret route. So that way, hopefully in 3 days' time, we could be reading the first episode in the secret route. But anyways, enough with my pre-rambling. It's been like 3 minutes. Jupiter has taken Cupid back to Celestia, and she's being cornered by her parents and all other gods. Basically keep her there, and I don't know what happened to Allan. He was getting lightning bolted when we left. But Jupiter knows who Allan is, knows who she is, and apologized. So I'm curious on who he was before he became fallen. So let's find that out. Then Mom and Dad said that I should come with them. Thought they might toss me in jail for disobeying them and running off, but my room, you're grounded. They just brought me back to the same room I had stayed in for so long.
ひとまずここで休みなさい。
His way of telling you that you're grounded. Dad looks a little restless himself, but he wasn't full of his usual attitude. Kind of like any dad who wasn't sure what to do with his rebellious daughter who had just run away. What about my work as Cupid?
それがな、ジュピター様に止められているのだ。
He did.
わしもした方がいいと思っていたんだが、ダメの一点張りでな。
Why is Jupiter saying no?
どうもこれ以上お前に仕事をさせると、お前の力がなくなるという話だ。ジュピター様はお前の身を案じておられる。
Aw, he's very worried about her. That's really cute, actually. Because Lord Jupiter is like portrayed in this whole game as like omnipotent, like takes care of everything, controls everything, like doesn't really like humans, or doesn't like the fact that the gods want to interfere with him, or Cupid wants to interfere with, I don't know. Anyway, also it said that Jupiter takes care of the demons, especially greater demons. I think Minerva said that in a couple episodes ago when she was mentioning demons, and she's like, there's not very many of them around because Jupiter took care of all that. He did not take care of Allan though, so. Huh? Lose my powers? That must be what Allan was talking about before, about me disappearing. I thought I'd disappear just by running out of time. But if what Dad said is true, I should be fine as long as I don't use my powers. Dad hid the truth earlier, so why would he admit it now? But then I realized that the only one who actually lied about me disappearing was Aunt Minerva. Dad only said that demons were dangerous. He didn't actually deny what I'd said. Then, is Dad on my side?
ジュピター様ならばいいようにしてくれるだろう。とにかくこの部屋で待機しているようにとのことだ。
See, not all gods just care about their work. You're not just a tool. Lord Jupiter cares if you disappear.
お前も人間界やら冥界やらに行って疲れただろう。ゆっくり休むといい。
Saying that, he nervously patted me on the head. Even though we got into another one of our heated arguments, maybe he softened up a bit after I was gone for so long. The 20 years should be nothing for a god. It might be a long time for humans, but it's practically a blink of an eye for a god. They did say they were searching for me all this time. Were they really worried about me? Dad has always been so overprotective, which is exactly how I got myself into so much trouble. Suddenly I remembered playing hide and seek with Dad here in Celestia a long time ago. I may not fully trust the gods as a whole, but I do still have memories of Dad raising me with love and care. If I talked to him honestly, he might be willing to listen to me. I gathered all my courage and looked him in the eye. Dad, can't we just go discuss this with Lord Jupiter directly?
今ジュピター様はご準備で忙しいのだ。実は
The truth is he having to deal with a greater demon? He seemed to struggle with whether or not he should keep going, but he finally spoke. Juno, the god of marriage, has gone missing. Oh, that makes sense, I guess. What? Lady Juno?
そうだ。恋を司る神と結婚の神がどちらも行方不明になったせいで、今人間界の結婚率は最悪だ。
All the gods involved with romance just up and left and rebelled.
それについて近々ジュピター様からお前にもお話があるそうだ。だから話すのはその機会を待ちなさい。
You mean we're going to get more Lord Jupiter in this? I thought he was one and done. You say that, but I can't just sit around here doing nothing. Not when I know Allan is down there injured and in pain. Dad said that marriage rates is horrible now since Cupid has gone so long. So what choice do I have but to use my Cupid's bow and eventually disappear?
ではわしは仕事があるので行くよ。ゆっくり休みなさい。
Dad spoke to me softly, then left the room. After he left, I heard footsteps that could only be divine soldiers. Dad's kind voice, I thought he would understand my feelings. The only reason Dad is kind to me is because I'm Cupid and the world needs me. If I fled from my duties, he's definitely come after me with that axe of his. Nobody in Celestia cares about me as a person. Allan is the only one who sees me for who I am. Allan. I think Jupiter does too. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we find out who they are, I guess. Just thinking about him and made my chest feel tight. If I'm going to disappear anyway, I'd like to see Allan one more time and find out the full truth. Even if Dad is right and Allan has been lying to me, I still love him so much that I don't care. I'm going to stand up to them. I might disappear. Allan, who's already suffered Lord Jupiter's wrath, might die. But I need to go to the human realm before it's too late. But to do that, I'll need to trick the gods here somehow. My hands were shaking as I touched the necklace around my neck. Dad said that Lord Jupiter told him I shouldn't use Cupid's bow. If I do, I might disappear, so how many times can I use it? There's no time to think about that. All I could think about was Allan in pain. I called upon my Cupid's bow. Please, divine arrow, take their love for me. I let loose an arrow. It split into two and pierced the air. Each arrow struck the heart of one of the divine soldiers. Suddenly, my own heart started to pound. No. It was practically beating out of my chest. I was having trouble breathing. Maybe I shouldn't have used my power again. But after a few seconds, the pain went away. I could still stand. I could still go on.
キューピッド様、大丈夫ですか?
The divine soldiers I shot had worried looks on their faces. They were faces of the people who had clearly fallen in love, specifically with me. I'm fine, but could the two of you please escort me out of here?
かしこまりました。お任せください。
The two were now slaves to love and opened the gate for me right away. Stealing my resolve, I made my escape. I had Cupid's bow, so even if I ran, they might still be able to find me right away. But as long as I still had time to live, I wanted to do whatever I could to see him again. My decision was made. I squeezed my fist with determination. I decided to sneak into Aunt Minerva's room in order to make my way back to the human realm. How's that gonna go for you? As soon as I left my room, I was confronted with a Celestia in chaos.
Oi! Jupiter 様がお呼びだぞ。今行く。これを頼まれているんだ。
Everyone seems to be really busy. If Lady Juno's disappeared, I guess that explains the chaos. I've never really met her myself. I wonder what kind of goddess she is. With the help of the Divine Soldiers, I was able to make my way to Aunt Minerva's room. Now's my chance. I quietly checked to see if Dad's Divine Beast was around anywhere, then headed for the door. Do we know it's a chicken in this one? I don't remember. As I entered, I looked around to see if anyone was around. Yes, she's not here. I followed the path that she showed me before to get to the secret gate that would take me to the human realm. Okay, now please don't let anyone know that I'm gone. It's not gonna take them very long to notice.
キューピッド様、何を
There you go. I'll be back in like 2 hours, I think. See you later. Sorry, Aunt Minerva, I need to borrow this. As I stepped forward, I felt the same sense of being pulled in that I felt before. Please take me to wherever Allan is. I don't know if praying might actually take me to him, but humans pray to the gods, and sometimes the gods do listen to them. Allan, please. Looks like you're by his store. Yeah. I ended up teleporting to Allan's shop, Pill Luxuria. There was a thick, dark blood pooled in the front of the entrance. Oh my goodness. Is this demon blood? Oh no. I nervously opened the door and saw that the lights were off. I swallowed hard at the sight of the uninviting store. More drops of black liquid covered the floor, leading towards the stairs. The second floor, it must be Allan's room. Is he up there, or could it be some other fearsome demon? I grasped my Cupid's bow tightly and made my way up the stairs. Probably him hurt. As soon as I reached the top of the stairs, I saw a badly injured Allan laying on the floor. Goodness. Allan! I ran over and embraced him. His one wing was torn to shreds, and a number of wounds were dripping with black blood. Allan, please don't die. You're going to be okay. When I put my hands on his back, he looked up at me.
リネット、どうしてここに
He looked pale, almost completely drained of life. I escaped from Dad. I'm sure they'll find me in no time, but I was so worried about you.
なんて無茶するんだ。ひどい目には合わなかった。
No, I'm completely fine. He looked ready to pass out, and he's still worried about me. I could feel tears stinging in my eyes. I'm so sorry, Allan. This is all my fault. What can I do? Or should I not touch you? I'm a god, but I wasn't sure if touching him might heal him or hurt him. I wasn't sure what I should do. Allan just shook his head.
君にだけは触れられても平気だ。
Allan. Aww. That's such a cute image. His poor wing. I hugged him tightly and he stiffened a bit, but then he quickly relaxed.
君だ。
Yeah, he's like, oh wait, you did regain your memories back, didn't you? I've been watching you for 20 years. He sounded so relieved, as if he wanted to cry. There was a complete sincerity in his voice, as if he couldn't help but call out for me despite resisting me. There was a warmth that felt like a long-lost memory. The same man that I'd embraced so many times, the demon I'd kissed. My lover for 30 straight days.
ごめん。こんな汚れた姿で。本当なら君の前にこ こんな姿を晒しちゃダメなのに。
What do you mean?
君は神だろう。こんな悪魔の姿を汚らわしいって思うはずだ。でももう人間の姿を保てないんだ。これが俺の本性だから。
Allan gave me that typical self-mocking grin of his. His eyes told me that he truly didn't want me to see his demon form. In response, I just smiled and embraced him tighter. To be honest, I prefer you in this form.
こんなまがまがしい悪魔なのに。
Yes. Yes, it's a very nice form.
俺はキューピッドである君の敵だよ。
Yes.
俺は略奪パラサイトだよ。君の天敵で。君も怒ってたじゃないか。
All he wants is for me not to feel bad for him. Despite how much he's suffering, he's never wanted to rely on me. I love him so much. Even after the effects of my Cupid's era wore off, my love for him never changed. He's filled with such compassion. For the entire 30 days we were together, he took care of me, fawned over me. Even though he tried to resist, he ended up kissing me and reaching out for me in kindness. And when my life was drawing to an end, he protected me again by reincarnating me. Ugh. Suddenly, I felt a slight sting on my skin. What was that? I felt like something was crawling beneath my skin. As I stood there confused, Allan suddenly gasped.
離れるんだ。
Huh?
俺は今怪我をしているから、君の生命力を奪ってしまう。
That's kind of scary. If he can absorb you. Allan tried to push me away, but he was so weak it was impossible. My life is flowing into you? Then that's exactly what I want. My only wish is for the chance to save you. I hugged him even tighter. He did everything he could to resist.
ダメだ。俺は奪いたくない。
See, even though he's the one on death's doorstep, he still worries about me. If it means he can be better, he should just use me. But still he refuses because he wants me to live. Such a kind person would never try to deceive me. The gods are the ones lying to me, I'm sure of it.
頼む。話してくれ。このままじゃ君を失いたくない。
I don't want you to disappear either, so please, Allan, don't die. I haven't remembered everything there is to know about you. So until I do, please live. I love you, Allan, more than anything.
リネット。
Just the way he said my name, I could tell he was pouting, just like usual. He touched me softly with those injured hands and caressed my cheek. Again, I remember his face. The look is different, but the kindness is the same.
また一緒に天界に。
Heaven? Uh-oh. Huh? Where'd he go? Without warning, Allan suddenly disappeared. No! Can't take him away. You can't take him. He was just gone. I stared down into my arms. Allan? 1 second he was right there, the next he was nowhere to be seen. You mean, did he go back to heaven? Wait, but, I'm so confused. Please don't go. The silence in the room was deafening. I couldn't even hear the sound of breathing. Did he die? I heard a sound behind me. I turned around to look. I saw Clara standing there, a stunned look on her face. Clarice.
なんでここにいるの？ジュピターに捕まったんじゃなかったの？
Answer all of our questions. We have so many. Yes, but I was able to sneak away. Listen, Clarice, you must know where Allan is, right? Since you're a demon like him.
あら、バレちゃったか？でもそんな顔しなくても大丈夫。アランは傷を治すために悪魔界に行ったのよ。
Didn't he say back to heaven? Are you sure?
ええ。あなたが力を分けてくれたおかげで、帰る力が復活したみたい。はあ、回復させるために買ってきたソーセージ、無駄になっちゃった。
Allan doesn't eat human food. Sausages. It feels like my head in confusion. Claire suddenly pulled out a bunch of sausages from the bag she was holding.
悪魔の回復には血肉が必要だから買ってきたの。本当は人肉とか羊肉がいいんだけど、ロサンヨークには売ってないじゃない？
So she was just out buying sausages at the store. She just chuckled to herself. What a surprisingly modern demon. But human meat, ugh. Hearing her say something so scary, I realized she was really a demon. So you're a succubus after all.
ええ、そうよ。
I asked her again just to be sure, and she nodded her head proudly. So you've been lying to me this whole time.
騙すなんて人聞き悪いわね。私は生まれた時から悪魔だったもん。それを後ろめたく思う必要はないでしょ？
She puffed out her cheeks in annoyance. I guess she's still the same Clarice I'd come to like. I know you're still friends. It's like, okay, so you're not human. Okay, whatever, let's eat some sausages. But I guess she has a point. It's not like I told her I was Cupid. I wasn't hiding it or anything. It just would have been too difficult to explain. All kinds of people live in Lost York, and most of them never mention where they're from because why should it matter? That's all there was to it. I'm sorry, Clarice, you're right. But she knew you were Cupid the whole time. But don't tell me it's just a coincidence that we wound up being friends.
まあそうね。私が拾って面倒見てあげてたアランが助けてほしいって言うから協力してたの。
Looking after him?
実は私、アランの育ての親みたいなものなの。彼はね、ある日突然空から落っこちてきたのよ。
Dang it. I just plugged in something else with that, and now I have to plug in my controller soon. Just fell out of the sky. Okay, so how old are you, Clarice? Really? So Clarice was his stepmom. That was definitely a shocking bit of news. Does that mean she's hundreds of years old too? But she's so cute. It's hard to believe she could be even older than Allan. As I stood there frozen in surprise, Clarice just looked at me and sighed.
いつでもアランはあなたのことばっかり考えてた。あの子が人を騙すのも略奪するのも全部あなたのためだったわ。
Oh yeah, I forgot that he said a long time ago in the common root, the reason why he is like that is because someone like family was taken away from him a long time ago. But now the familial bond back then is now a love bond. Huh?
来たばかりの頃は何度も深海に行こうとしてた。悪魔が深海に行けるはずないのにさ。今日こそなんて言って怪我ばっかしてた。どうしてもいけないって分かってからは上級悪魔になるためにたくさん罪を重ねてたわ。
Oh, so you can read what the Book of Vanquishing and learn even more secrets?
そうすれば新薬転覆の書の閲覧権限も増えて深海に行く方法がわかるかもしれないなんて。
I was right.
それで新薬転覆の書を読んでキューピッドが人と恋すれば神じゃなくなるって分かってからはあなたが誰かと恋するように必死に走り回ってたの。でもあの子不器用だから全然あなたに近づけなくて。それで私が手伝うことにしたのよ。もちろん今では私もあなたを友達だって思ってるけどね。
Claire winked at me and was surprised at how happy that made me. I'm glad to hear you say that. To be honest, I consider you my best friend in the world, you know. They said that I took her hand. She just smiled at me sadly.
だから友達として言うわ。きっと神たちはアランを悪く言うだろうけれど、あなただけはアランを信じてあげて。
Of course she does. I will. After all, I was going to do that anyway, because Allan is the man I love. I'll do whatever it takes for him to live. But why did Allan help me in the first place?
そんなの私の方が聞きたいわ。せっかく拾った悪魔があんな無茶するんだもん。全然悪魔っぽく育たなくって困っちゃ。
Paris looked over to where Allan had disappeared and smiled sadly again.
あの子が本当にいい子なのだけは揺るぎのない真実よ。
She totally had the air of a caring mother or older sister.
だからあなたは生き延びることだけ考えといて。悪魔界で傷を癒して戻ってきたアランが悲しまないように。
Okay, thank you, Clarice. Tried to survive, but what can I do to make that happen? I touched my Cupid's bow necklace and looked up into the sky. Dad said Jupiter was concerned about me and I should just wait patiently. But I can't trust anyone at Celestia anymore. If I'm really going to disappear, they're doing everything they can to keep quiet about it. I don't want to believe that, but...
また一緒に天界に。
That's what Allan said earlier. Maybe a place he wants us to go together again. Maybe there's a hint to my memories there. If I go there, could I remember those days I spent with him? Heaven is a place that exists right below Celestia. In order to get there, I need to open the connecting gate to Celestia. Oh right, I forgot that heaven isn't Celestia. So, I think they were both angels together before they became god and demon. All making sense to me now, I think. Like, it didn't make sense at first because I'm like, okay, they were both gods. And I'm like, it wasn't clicking at first because I was like, oh, they're both gods, right? They were together somewhere, but I forgot heaven is separate from Celestia. Let's go. I wonder how much time I have left. I want to be with Allan until my final moments, but going to the underworld again is probably too dangerous, all those demons. If I did that, Allan might try to come and rescue me again, and he's still healing, so all I can do now is move forward, follow that one single clue to try and regain my memories. Going back home is definitely a risk, but I feel like I need to visit heaven and try to find out the truth. If I just stand here waiting around, I'll almost certainly disappear and never get to see Allan again. That would make sense when he says back to heaven. Hands clasped at the end. I used my divine artifact to return to Celestia, and the entire place was even more in chaos than before.
おい、キューピッド様はいたか。いや、こっちにもいない。ジュピター様に怒られる前に早くキューピッド様を見つけないと。ジュピター様がお呼びだってのに、一体どこに行ったんだキューピッド様は。
This is bad. I hid behind a big pole, hoping they wouldn't spot me. Dad said I should get plenty of rest, so I thought I'd have more time, but I guess he wanted to see me right away. I need to get moving right now. As soon as the soldiers were gone, I started tiptoeing forward. He's just going to find you. I should turn down that way. It's Mars's spiritual beast. A terrifying scream startled me, and I spun around. I saw a rooster standing there, Dad's divine beast.
キューピッド、ここにいましたか。
I was just
今のはマーズ様のおんどりの声。キューピッド様、ここにいましたか。探しましたよ。
well, I had to go to the bathroom.
何言っているんですか。トイレなんて神いませんよ。
I know, you can't use like human excuses to get away with it. That's true. You don't get hungry or go to sleep either. There are no bathrooms up here. I've been a human for so long, I totally forgot.
とにかく、ジュピター様がお呼びです。お支度をしていただきますからね。
Is she going to run or is she going to go see him? Looks like she's going to go see him. You get to see him again. The divine soldiers surround me and escort me back to my room. Dang it. Then they had me change into clothing similar to the ones worn by the Diconstants. Oh, really? What's with this outfit? I don't recall there ever being rules about what kind of clothes you had to wear when you meet Lord Jupiter. The divine soldiers all looked at me with dismay.
キューピッド様、聞いていないんですか？ジュノー様が行方不明なので、あなたがジュノー様になるんですよ。
He's going to promote her to a Diconstant? Oh my goodness. Me as Lady Juno? I'm going to become Lady Juno? What the heck is going on?
十二神に欠番が出たら、海の神から補充することになっているんです。
Wait, so if she's a Diconstant, that means she's not going to disappear, right?
と言っても、私が知る限り、欠番なんて出たことないですから、我々もどうなるのか想像もつきませんが、先ほど D コンセンテスの皆様が集まられて、ジュノー様にふさわしい神を選んだそうです。それにあなたが選ばれたんですよ。
What? So one of the 12 great Olympians can be replaced too, not just us lower gods. Any god can be replaced? No. I need someone to explain this to me properly. If I become Lady Juno, then what happens to Cupid?
だからキューピッドもまた補充しますよ。
Naturally. By who?
我々のような新兵の知るところではありません。きっと十二神であるジュノー様になればわかりますよ。
Alright, let's go. What? But I'm nothing like Lady Juno. Besides, the real Lady Juno might end up coming back.
あなたが今着ている服はジュノー様の寝具です。つい最近その寝具だけが深海へ帰ってきたんですよ。
Maybe she fell in love with a human too and lost her artifact.
寝具が深海に戻るということはつまりもうジュノー様はおいでになられないということですので戻られることはありません。
That's awful, but I'm sorry, I can't do it. I mean, isn't Lady Juno Lord Jupiter's wife? Oh. Is she? What? At least that's all the stories and history books say.
そうですね。ジュピター様をおそばで支え、人間の結婚に祝福を与える女神です。
I have so many comments right now, but I can't. I can't do it.
ジュノー様もキューピッド様もいらっしゃらなかったせいで、今、人間界の結婚率は混沌に満ちています。だから、一刻も早くジュノー様が必要なんです。ジュピター様と結婚の誓いを立て、早くジュノー様になってください。
Oh my goodness. Marry Lord Jupiter. She's going to be like, no. So many comments. I can't comment. Marry Lord Jupiter and become the new Lady Juno. In other words, we'd be husband and wife, right? Just like mom and dad. I can't do it. Please find someone else.
はあ？何言ってるんですか？
He's like, what? There are plenty of other gods. There's no reason it has to be me.
まあ確かにそうですが。っていやいやダメですよ。D コンセンテスの決めたことは絶対で。
I know they can't go against him. But I'm not worthy. After all, I'm the one who got seduced by a demon, right? And even as Juno, I'm still going to get back to the human realm and check on Allan. I can't just throw away my feelings, even in the name of duty. What's more important, your duty or your love? I'm the goddess of love, so of course for me it's my love. I've reached the point where I can say that without a doubt. I can't live without love. And if that's the way I feel, surely I'm not fit to be a part of the Diconstants, right? It could be anyone, right? Why don't you become her?
キューピッド様？一体何を言って？
So not only are you asking him to marry Lord Jupiter, but you're asking him to be Lady Juno. Whatever. The point is, I'm not worthy. What about, Proserpina? Proserpina?
何言ってるんですか？プロセルピナ様はプルート様と結婚なさってるじゃないですか。
Or Pluto. But I have someone I love too, so I can't marry Lord Jupiter.
キューピッド様がご結婚
そんな我らの女神が。
The two soldiers that may have fallen in love with me earlier came rushing in.
はあ、お前たち何を言っているんだ。私はキューピッド様に恋をしてるんです。どうか告白する許可を。
Oh my goodness.
話がややこしくなるから出てくるんじゃない。
Stop it. No, no. Please make it complicated. Can you help me escape? I don't want to get married.
ちょっとキューピッド様。
This
キ
is
ューピッド
funny.
様が逃げるのに手を貸すぞ。
Oh my goodness.
おお。
Yeah.
いやいや、お前何手を貸そうとしてるんだ。ジュピター様のご命令に背くつもりか。
I love this route so much.
キューピッド様のためならば。
I hear the soldiers I charmed arguing with the others, but there's no time to stop to worry about them. I just couldn't become one of the die constants. I had more to learn about Allan and myself. That is why I had to make my way to heaven. Now I want to see Jupiter. Dang it. I ran as fast as my legs would carry me. Eventually I came to the gate. The gate to heaven, located in an area where no gods are allowed. But somehow the gate was familiar to me. I felt like I'd seen this gate open once before. When you came through it, when you ascended to godhood. Once the gate opened, I traveled to heaven. There I saw countless angels. Angels that looked content, that opened their wings wide and flew through the sky. There were no voices, only the flapping of wings against the wind. It was exactly the kind of scene people would imagine when they heard the word heavenly. I know this world. Oh, that's right. This is from the moment where I was barely old enough to remember. I cried out as the memories that I could only be from my previous life came flooding into my mind. I think I remember. I remember why Allan had been trying to save me. I remember it all. Allan and I were here together 150 years ago. From the moment we were born and descended into this world, we lived our lives believing in each other. So heaven is the crystal beach that you remember. He and I were the two halves of a single angel. From over 500 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. Angels have no names, they have no voices, and yet every angel knows its other half. We were born together, two halves of a whole angel, and lived together for decades. That's something I wasn't expecting. I was expecting them to be like, you know, close, but I wasn't expecting them to be two halves of one angel. Together in heaven, there was no concept of time. The sun doesn't rise or set. We would clasp our hands together and soar through the sky. Two halved angels with matching bruises. We didn't have to speak a single word to know exactly what the other was thinking. When I played a silly prank, he'd be at a loss for words. When I felt sad, he'd start to panic. We were always there for each other. We'd hold each other, feeling like we were the only ones who understood each other. But those days came to an end when the gate opened. Oh, and they took her. Standing before us were Lord Jupiter and Lord Mercury.
そこの天使、こちらへ来なさい。
Lord Mercury was pointing to a particularly round angel. She approached Lord Jupiter, who put his hand on her.
天眼の横に生まれし天使。主神ジュピターが命じる。
Is that where they get the lesser gods?
内気に任命する。
They go to heaven to get the lesser gods. A high, clear sound rang out, and the ring on the angel crumbled. She then entered the gate and made her way to Celestia. That was the first time we'd ever seen a god come to choose an angel. We both took a step back. We were in shock. Usually when a god appeared, it was to give them some kind of specific order. Gods age when they go to the human realm, so they would usually use angels to go and give blessings to the humans. The work we did was known as destiny. Every angel's job was to heed the gods' commands and work on the behalf of humans. In other words, they're God's messengers. When we didn't have orders, we could just relax in our spring of everlasting life. But that day, I saw a true reality. We felt like we'd seen something we weren't meant to see. We tried to fly away together. But the gods weren't finished just yet.
そこの天使も、こちらへ来なさい。
When I saw his finger, I couldn't hide my shock. He was pointing at me. I looked at him in open astonishment. We were two halves of one angel. I thought we'd be together forever. I never imagined one of us would be asked to leave heaven. I thought we'd be able to help the gods together forever.
どうした？こちらへ来なさい。
I couldn't disobey a god's direct order, so I flapped my wings and flew over to him. Lord Jupiter held his hand over my forehead as if he was trying to block the light for me.
天界の上に生まれし天使、主神ジュピターが命じる。お前をキューピットに任命する。
As my angel ring disintegrated, I felt something important inside me disappear. No, someone, my other half, my angel. He stared at me in disbelief. As I looked back, my memories of his eyes started to fall to pieces within me. No, I don't want to be separated. I don't want to forget. I tried to scream, but I had no voice to release it. Lord Mercury took my hand and we went through the gate to Celestia. I was sure he tried to call out my name. An inaudible voice pierced my chest, but we no longer had any way to reach out and hold each other. I was no longer an angel. The moment I walked through the gate, I lost every last memory of him. I remember now. A single warm tear rolled down my cheek. That's right, Allan and I lived here together. Until the day I was chosen, that is. On that day, I forgot everything about being born into this world. I always thought that I was Cupid my entire life and that Mars and Venus were my family. That's how Celestia was designed to work. But my only true family was Allan. Why did I have to forget? I was the other half of his angel. It's all because I became Cupid. I was the goddess of love, but I forgot about the single most important person to me. What a terrible thing. A name with no pronunciation, a name we created in a world with no sound, no voices. That's how much we cared about each other. I didn't meet Allan at Cupid Court. We were together for centuries before that. I need to see him again. I need to see Allan, the other half of my soul. I can't become Lady Juno because my fellow angel has become a demon. If he fell like that, then I should too. Just then, the gate opened and the divine soldiers came storming in. Aw, that's so sad. It's so sweet at the same time. It's like, they always use like the line, you know, the other half of my soul, or the better half of me, or, you know, just something, this person completes you. But in this game, it's in a sense that they were born together and were separated, and I don't know. I think it just has a sweeter meaning when she says that he was the other half of her soul. In this sense, they really are like soulmates.
キューピッド様がいたぞ
You're supposed to be helping her. What are you
こん
doing?
なところに隠れていたのか。早く来てください。あなたは呪脳神になるんですよ。
Or was it Soldier 3 and 4 that was helping? Terrified of the soldiers, the angels flew off. All of these angels will become gods someday. Angels are the servants of the gods, but at the same time, they're basically the gods' backups. In other words, angels have no rights of their own. I don't want to be a god that's okay with that. It's wrong for gods to be above angels like that. The same anger I felt when I rebelled against Dad in the first place started to flare up inside me again. The human realm is in chaos because me and Lady Juno are gone. When I was down there, everything just seemed fine to me. I saw plenty of people fall in love while I was at Cupid Corp and tons of people living life happily. There weren't any problems. The only problem I see is how self-important us gods are. I don't think the gods are all that important. I can't stay in Celestia anymore.
キューピッド様、何を
I refuse to let anyone claim ownership of me. I took off running and jumped off the edge of heaven. What? Where are you going to go? Down towards the earth, and toward the underworld beyond it. I was hoping that I could fall just like him. Wow. Just trying to become a fallen angel? I don't think you could just jump off heaven, though, and become a fallen angel. I wonder what Allan did to become fallen. Now that I'm back in the underworld, I need to get to work, trying to heal myself back up.
やはり神からつけられた傷は治りが遅い。
Yeah, I bet. The bleeding has stopped, but the pain is still very much there. I bear down on the excruciating pain running through my body. If I stay here in the underworld, my wounds will heal eventually. But I can't just sit here doing nothing. She's still got her divine artifact, so Jupiter's going to find her sooner or later.
早く治ってくれ。
If I can just get my wing taken care of, at least I can fly out of here. If I could do that much, I don't care about the pain. Moving my wing even a little bit shoots bolts of pain through my body. There's no way I can fly like this. I wonder what she is doing. I left her behind at my home. Have the gods found her yet? If so, they'll go right back to using her as Cupid and she'll disappear. I can't stand this fear. I don't have time to wait for my wounds to heal.
二度と飛べなくなってもいい。あの子を守れるなら。
I took a deep breath and started to flap my wing. Ow. I was in so much pain, I thought I was going to go insane. But that kind of pain meant nothing. I had to get to her as soon as possible. My angel, my absolute reason for existing. If she disappears up there, I won't have a chance to ever see her again. I can't let that happen. But how does he know that the gods disappear after so many years? Because he wouldn't have found that out until after he had fallen, become a greater demon, and learned of the book. I guess he had fallen trying to get her back, and then learned about that, and then it became his mission to get her back. I guess anyway. If you can't retain human form, you're going to just walk around as a demon. I put my entire will into flying up to Celestia, but I just couldn't reach it. Demons can actually see Celestia, unlike humans, but still, we can only see it. The almighty energy surrounding it prevents us from getting anywhere close to it. As soon as a demon gets near, pain starts shooting through their entire body. I know all about that, but I still have to try. If I do end up losing her, I don't want to have any regrets. Flying through the clouds, I spotted the gate leading to Celestia, but once again I couldn't make my way past it. My breathing got tight and my entire body started to sweat. I knew that if I let up for even a second, I'd plummet out of the sky.
くそ。あと少し。もう少しでいけるのに。
おい、キューピッド様見つかったか？
He can hear it. I thought there was like a gate separating it. Maybe the gate's open.
キューピッド。
As soon as I heard that voice, I quickly found a hiding spot. I noticed that the divine soldiers guarding the gate were in total chaos.
いや、まだだ。キューピッド様は見つからない。せっかくキューピッド様はジュノー様に選ばれたってのに、何が不満なんだ。
Chosen to become the next Juno? My mind suddenly froze up. That was not good news. My body started to fall forward, down and out of the sky. But there was no strength left in my body. The ground came rushing towards me, just like before. Those horrid memories came flooding back, overlapping with the helplessness I felt in that moment. Just like when she was taken from me into Celestia, and when I fell and became a demon. Turn off the sound effects. I wasn't sure how long it'd
天
take.
界の上に生まれし天使主神ジュピターが命じる。お前をキューピッドに任命する。
The moment her angel ring disappeared, I felt a despair so deep that I thought my body was being ripped apart. My other half, the one I wanted to protect forever, was being taken to Celestia. No. No. Please don't take her. I can't live without her. Even if it means I became the enemy of the god of all gods, I can't let that happen. I take her hands in mine. If she becomes a god, she'll no longer be herself. Before that can happen, I need to run away with her. Run away and be together forever. Please, I want to be with you.
なんだこの天使は。手を離しなさい。天使に深海の門の通過は許可されていない。下がりなさい。
No, I won't let her go. I hate all the gods. If they're going to take her away, then I have no choice but to revolt. She's more important to me than the gods or all of the worlds.
マーキュリー、二人は対の天使だ。やはり片方だけというのは。
深海の掟を知らないとは言わせん。神に背きし天使には罰を。はるか昔から定められし決まりだ。
だが。
Aw, he wanted to take both of them, and Mercury said no. Aw, Jupiter, you're so nice.
天界の上生まれの男の天使よ。これは神の決定だ。背くなら相応の罰を受けなければならぬ。
Who even is Mercury anyway? Like, what is he the god of? Is he above Jupiter? Aw, that makes me feel so sad. Jupiter tried to protect him. And Mercury punished him. Now you're a fallen angel. Ooh. He grabbed my ring and ripped it off. One of my wings was taken. That must have hurt. She looks like she's about to cry. I can't let her go. If I abandon her now, I'll never be able to forgive myself. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Yes, please stop. I feel one of the gods tap me on the shoulder. Suddenly I'm shoved from heaven and I fall to the ground. She's calling out to me, but I can no longer see the heavens. I can't see her, all because I let go of her hands. I try as hard as I can to flap my one good wing, but I can no longer ascend. I'm no longer an angel. An angel with one wing can't possibly fly alone. Any angel that rebels gets banished. I would have been willing to go anywhere with you, but now I'm all alone. I've lost my ability to fly. This is really sad. Everything is playing out just like it did before. I cry out with a sound as I fall. Why am I repeating the same thing over again? Am I destined to lose her again?
Lineto!
Desperately reaching up, I take flight once again, setting my sights for Celestia. Jupiter's words hurt so much that I feel like I'm on fire. The blood is gushing out of my body. Oh. But if I don't try now, when will I ever get another chance? I'm a fallen angel. A being that's been a greater demon for 400 years. And what was I doing with all that time? Preparing to see her one more time. I don't want her to disappear. I just want her to be herself.
せっかくキューピッド様はジュノー様に選ばれたってのに、何が不満なんだ。
She ran away. I should make him happy. And I remember when I heard them say my strength started draining out of me again. That's right, if what they said was true, she'd been chosen to become the next Juno. Not a Cupid that could be thrown away, but a Diconstantance that would live forever.
そっか。
That doesn't matter, you still shouldn't give up. My strength was completely gone. I couldn't get any higher in the sky. Right, this should be fine then. My wish was for her not to disappear. As long as she can live, there's no problem. My eyes filled with tears, so I closed them tight as I fell back towards the earth.
それでも。
My wish that was born from our time together was still burning within my heart. I was born as an angel, fell as a demon, yet in all that time I never once wished for my own happiness. I just wanted her to live.
それでも。許されるなら。
I reached out to the skies once again.
許されるなら。君と。共に生きたかった。
My tears hung in the air and then disappeared. I'd given into my selfishness and my heart hung heavy because of it. If I never had that wish, I could have just worked to fulfill my purpose. Because I have a wish, I'm suffering now and I can't do what I want.
どうして。
I could feel a rotten sentiment growing within me. My heart started to fester and bleed. I could feel myself falling towards something even nastier than a demon.
神よ。どうして大切な人と共にいたいという願いすら。 お前たちは奪うんだ
I can't forgive you. I curse you all. Just as I started to yell out, I felt someone grasp my hand. Allan! Yay! I was about to start crying. It was the one hand I had always longed for, and the voice of the one person I wanted to protect. When I opened my eyes, I saw Lynette right there in front of me. Is she an angel? Is she flying? Why don't we get a CG? Dang it. Not this sound again. I fled from heaven and I was heading for the human realm. I saw Allan falling from the sky. I grabbed his hand. Oh, they jumped at the same time. Well, I guess she jumped at the same time that he fell. Slowly he opened his eyes. His eyes opened wide as if seeing something he couldn't believe.
君が
She leapt out of heaven. Allan, I'm so sorry I forgot about you. I remember everything now. You were my other angel half. Oh.
思い出した
I'm gonna cry now. Dang it. The rest of his words were muffled by his sobs. Don't do that to me. Stop it. I can't listen. Right here in the middle of the sky, Allan held me tight. I held him back, grasping his wide back as hard as I could. His injured body started shaking. Sorry I'm so late. And I'm sorry it took me so long to remember.
君が無事ならいいんだ
I don't understand why he couldn't just tell her this from the beginning. With tears running down his face, he gripped me even tighter. All I wanted to do was comfort him, so I stroked his back over and over again. Then I wrapped him in the outfit I was wearing, in the hopes that I would help heal his wounds. I was still wearing Lady Juno's divine artifact, a wedding dress. Oh, the wedding dress. Oh my goodness. Using Cupid's bow would make me disappear, but I had a feeling that using the dress wouldn't be a problem. Divine artifacts belong to the 12 gods that control all things, were different from my own. They had the power to change the logic of the world. Besides, he was once the angel himself. I have to wipe the stuff on my face. There we go. I can see again. So healing him and taking him back to the heavens, that was something I felt like I could do. Oh, yay. Taking him back to heaven. Is that the end finally? Oh. I'm so confused. It does this every time. It confuses me every single time it does this. Okay, hold on. Let me get the website up real quick. Oh, no, I did read hand clasp at the end. Okay, then I'm just not paying attention. Not much as I should be anyway. Okay, so now we're on the best love match, single winged angels. Okay, let's go. I held onto his body tightly as we fell. Allan, if I said that you and I could both turn back into angels, what would you say? As he whispered that, his eyes grew wide.
悪魔に打点した俺が天界に
That's right. If I wrap you up in this, you won't disappear. Don't you want to see that world again? Allan looked up into the sky as if searching for the divine soldiers that might be pursuing us. His expression made his true desires perfectly clear. For 400 years, he's been separated from his home, a home to which he couldn't return after becoming a demon. His eyes said it all. He wanted to see it. He wanted to see it all one more time. I understood exactly how I felt, so I smiled at him to ease his troubled heart. Don't worry, the divine soldiers aren't in heaven right now. I could tell thanks to this divine artifact. Allan, just tell me honestly, do you want to see it again? I looked deep into his eyes. He smiled through the pain I knew he was feeling.
見たい最後に 一度だけでいい。君といたあの世界を。
And so we went to heaven together. Just as I told him, the divine soldiers were nowhere to be seen. It was the same peaceful heaven I remembered.
懐かしいな。
Are you going to like terrify all the angels now in your new form? After Juno's divine artifact, Allan watched the angels. We were here together once so long ago.
ああ、あの頃は楽しかったな。難しいことなんて何も考えなくてよかった。ただ、君を大切に思っていれば、それだけでよかった。
Allan looked at me and laughed softly.
君はさ、本当におてんばだったな。声がないくせに、あらゆる手で俺を笑わそうとしてきてさ。
That's true, and even then you were so kind to me. You couldn't speak a word, but you still wanted to make me smile.
それは君もだろう。いつも君は落ち込みやすい俺を心配ばっかりしてくれていた。だから君が笑わせようとしてくれるその姿を俺はずっと守り続けたいって思ったんだ。
We held each other's hands and stared into one another's eyes like mirrors, just like we used to. We felt like we were the only two souls in the world, that the only things our eyes could see were each other. Allan, I love you. Oh. I've loved you since long before I was struck with Cupid's arrow. Ever since those days we spent together in heaven. And then you were so kind to me during those 30 days we were lovers, and of course when I was reincarnated after that. Allan, I love you. I want to be with you forever. Allan looked at me and laughed, still clearly in pain. Then he looked out at the angels.
ここにいた頃、俺はこの感情が何かわからなかった。君へ抱くこの感情の名前は一体何なんだろうって。言葉もないのにずっと思っていた。
I want to say something, but it's not related to this game at all. It was just like a thought, but I don't want to ruin the moment, so I'll just keep going.
愛なのか恋なのか連母なのか慈愛なのか友愛なのか。家族を知らなかったから、これが人間でいうところの家族愛なのかもしれないなんて思ったこともあった。いくら考えてもわからなかったけれど、世界で一番君が大切で君と一生いたいというのは確かだった。だから神になった君を追いかけて天罰を受けて悪魔になった。
Oh, I just realized, I just remembered that Jupiter remembered who he was. He's like, you're that, and that's why he apologized to him. Even 400 years later, he's still sorry about that. He laughed wryly and then looked at his body.
打点してこんな体になってからもさ、ずっと君のことばかり考えていた。会う方法ばかりを探していた。それでキューピッドが消滅すると知ってからは、ただ消滅から守りたいって思った。結ばれたいなんて思っていなかったんだ。
He said that last part, a dark look crossed his face.
でも今ははっきりとわかる。好きだ。君が好きだ。
Allan.
俺は男として君を一人の女性として愛している。
He tenderly reached out for me, but just before he touched me, he clenched his hand to a fist.
でもだからこそ一緒にいちゃいけないんだ。
Oh, yes, you can. Don't ruin the moment. He bitterly lowered his hand. Why?
愛する女性を俺は不幸にしたくない。俺は打点したんだ。悪魔になってからもずっとひどいことばかりしてきた。
I know you hate yourself for all the sins you committed, and being an angel, I'm sure that weighs much more heavily on you, but she doesn't care.
上級悪魔になるっていうのはそれだけ人間を利用し罪を犯したって証拠なんだ。人を導くのが神の使命ならば、悪魔は人を堕落させるのが仕事だ。そういう生き物に俺は成り下がった。俺は神を呪うほど汚れきってしまった。今まで犯してきた罪を俺は君に知られたくない。
It's okay. She's just going to become a fallen angel to be with you. She even said that. Al looked at me with guarded eyes, then looked at the other angels. It was as if he was longing for something he could never obtain.
ここにいる天使たちとはもう似ても似つかない姿になっているんだ。俺はもう君の知っていた天使なんかじゃない。君が好きだと言ってくれた俺はもうどこにもいないんだ。
Yes, he does. She didn't fall in love with the angels. She fell in love with you. Allan turned his head away from me. Still, I saw the pain and loneliness in his eyes. He's incapable of hiding his true self. Despite that, he still tries, so I puffed up my cheeks the way I did when I was an angel. You think I didn't know you've done things? I was your advisor at Cupid Corp after all. I know, right? The thieving parasite, a literal demon responsible for driving away so many of our members.
君が知ってるのなんて些細な罪だ。君が軽蔑するぐらい俺はひどいことをしてきた。例えば俺は
He tried to confess his sins, but then his lips just started to tremble. He didn't say a thing. Instead, he started sobbing silently and turned his head to the side.
言えない。言いたくない。俺がしてきたことなんか。
I want to know. I'm curious.
それぐらい俺の身は汚れきってるんだ。だから君とはもう
Whatever you've done, you haven't lost your sense of guilt, right? When I pointed that out, his whole body started to tremble. It would have been so easy for you to just let go of your guilt and truly embrace your demon nature, but you didn't. Kind and a little naive, you haven't changed one bit since we were in heaven. Plenty of humans curse the gods all the time. You think that's really all that bad? Plus, you always treat me well. You always put me before yourself. Maybe you've done some bad things, but who you are hasn't changed.
そんなはずは
You spent all this time wanting what's best for me, right? That's all the proof I needed. When I pointed that out, he let out a little gasp. I don't need any more reason than that to love you. And I do love you, Allan. Whatever you've done, whatever's happened, the person you are is the person I love.
リネットどうして君は
He sighed and laughed at the same time and pressed his fingers into his eyes.
君だってわかるだろう。好きだから好きだから 愛する人をこの手で怪我したくないって。
What thing? And who decides who's clean? I don't think you're dirty, Allan. Maybe you've sinned, but your soul is noble and pure.
でも
There is such thing as forgiveness.
俺は
There's forgiveness. You can repent of your sins. Be forgiven. His shoulders were trembling and he was breathing heavily. He's the same as always, a little childish, a little stubborn. As his other half, I need to be with him. Allan, I love you. This time, he didn't refuse my hands.
リネット、一緒にいたいと願ってもいいのか？
Yes. Give her a kiss. Of course, we're together as one. We always have been. I know you haven't forgotten that.
忘れられるはずがない。忘れられないからずっといたかった。バカだって思いながら君から離れられなかったんだ。君が俺の片割れだったから。
Because you're my other half. That's so cute.
俺は君が好きだったから。
Good, so we love each other. Then let's be together forever. I held his hand and looked into his eyes. His smile still has some of that usual troubled look. The same expression he always made when he heard my own crazy wishes.
多分次に俺とキスをしたら君は打点してしまうよ。
Do it. That's fine with me. I'm tired of the gods.
打点すれば悪魔になる。悪魔の暮らしなんていいものじゃないよ。
But you've been living as a demon all this time, right? I'm sure I can handle it.
俺は君に悪魔になってほしくなかった。君は優しい子だから悪魔になればきっと自分の身を呪う。
You know, I thought it would be cool if like they could become angels together again, but I'm okay with them becoming demons together instead. Stop trying to talk her out of it. She's already convinced herself.
だからならない方法をずっと探していた。でも今はそれよりも一緒にいたい。
And that's all that matters, because I want to be with you too. Allan's afraid of me becoming a demon. He keeps refusing out of kindness. He doesn't want me to start sinning. And because of that compassion, I'm willing to accept anything. He took a deep breath and then looked me straight in the eye as if making sure one last time.
君は天使に戻りたいとは思わないの？
Not at all. Do you? I whispered that to him, and for some reason it was enough to make him laugh.
俺ももう戻りたくないな。君の声を聞けないのはもう嫌だ。
Oh, that made me smile so much. Yeah, I guess you can't hear each other's voices if you're an angel. But what if you learn to talk? Is it still a voiceless heaven? I don't know. Anyway, that's adorable. He laughed again and hugged me tightly. Then together we turned our backs on heaven. We fell and just kept falling. As we fell, we cast off heaven and Celestia. Juno's clothes fluttered in the wind. Falling hand in hand, we gently pressed our lips together. Are we going to get a CG? Please? Yes. Yay. A kiss which represented our vows to the goddess of marriage, but also a kiss which commemorated our own fall. I could feel my divine powers draining out of those same lips. Like an angel losing her wings, Juno's clothes were abandoning me. I've fallen, and I can no longer exist as a god. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, that's so cute. I love that image so much. That's gonna be my new desktop. Also, it doesn't show any spoilers. It doesn't show her in any kind of demon form, so I can use the CG. I was gonna say, if there was a CG of her looking like a demon, I wasn't going to use it because we're an hour and 20 minutes into recording. I don't want to spoil something that late. Anyway, The necklace that had never left my neck up until now, it made a small clink and fell off my body. The golden arrow and leaden arrow both made their way back into the sky. Goodbye, Celestia, and goodbye, my former godly self. I no longer have the divine power to guide people into love. But in a way, wasn't that my goal all along? I wanted to show everyone that humans have the power to surpass even the gods. Okay, so you want to do it without being a god. Okay. I'll help people get married without using my arrows. If I could do that, then would you admit that I'm right? Is she going to, like, be a matchmaker as a demon? That'd be kind of funny. That fight I had with Dad so many years ago, that was the moment that led me to becoming a bridal advisor and helping people fall in love as a human. There's no reason that still can't be accomplished without helps from the gods. All that matters is that the desire to bring happiness. I'll be okay as long as I have that. Allan, I love you so much.
俺も好きだよ、リネット。
Two angels falling to earth, locked in a kiss that would taint both of their souls, we promised our love to one another in order to gain our freedom. That was such a good indeed. I loved his entire route. Yep, best route. Got my vote.
You are special to me.
Watching all of those CGs over again with knowing that they're two angels or two of the same half or like a pair of angels just brings like a whole different meaning to everything that they did. And it it definitely fulfilled the romantic in me. I feel fulfilled in this route. It was like a bittersweet love, them two, this whole route. Just looking at their first kiss and when he saved her from drowning, just the way he holds her, it's just she's this precious person to him, and I can't explain it. I think this route ranks really high on like top favorite routes of any game I've ever played. I liked it that much. It didn't have like a whole lot of romance in it, but at the same time, like I do like the romance ones too, but at the same time, it's just the bond that they had just made up for all of that. Anyway, I remember what I was thinking of whenever he was talking about being without language and stuff like that, and them knowing everything that they were thinking when they did, even though they couldn't speak. My daughters want to play a set of twins in the next D&D game. My husband's game just ended yesterday. That was the last session, and now we're going to start part 2 of his game. He's playing through the old Baldur's Gate game series. So we just finished Baldur's Gate 1, and now we're playing Baldur's Gate 2. And my daughters want to change their characters. They want to play a pair of twins. And they want to play twins that can communicate telepathically to each other. And there's a halfling subspecies that allows them to do that. And that's what that reminds me of, just a set of twins that always knows what each other's thinking. And yeah, that may not be kind of a good comparison because they're lovers in this one, but I mean, they were born together, but they weren't really twins. They just came into being together, and that just formed a special kind of bond with them. So I'm okay thinking of it like that. But the fact that they want to be twins so they can communicate and no one else knows what they're saying was really cute. I wonder what the endings are going to be with this. Obviously, one of them is probably going to be she disappears. I wonder what the one that triggers whenever she's like, what she remembers is the night with him. Because I remember that was where we saved at one point. What, she disappears or she becomes Lady Juno? That'd be interesting too. If she becomes she becomes Lord Jupiter's wife. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy, drop a like down below and or subscribe if you want to see the secret route next. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.